Yo, what's up, Exiles? Welcome back to another build guide video. My name is Shifty, and I'm here today to share with you my league starter for 0.3, the Third Edict. So my league starter for 0.3 will likely be Arc, Blood Mage, Infusion. That's right, we're going to be playing around the new Infusion mechanic. If you haven't heard yet, in 0.3, GGG is going to be introducing a new mechanic called Infusion. Infusion essentially is them trying to force us to combo skills together, and it may work. So essentially what happens is one skill will drop an orb on the ground, you'll pick that orb up, and that orb will buff a different skill, a different one. And that's Infusion in a nutshell. I think at worst, Infusion itself, it's going to be strong, and at best, it's going to be broken. So I think that's reason enough to try it out. My goal for this build wasn't just to make a strong build, it was to make it smooth as possible, with as few skills to press as possible. Okay. So I streamlined it with that goal in mind. We are going to be using Arc for clear and Ball Lightning for single target. Also, just a brief disclaimer, the skill tree for 0.3 is not out yet. GGG announced last night that it won't come out until the patch is out. Okay, so essentially we got to make do with what we got. We're going to be going off of the tree from 0.2, and I'm going to be trying to look as far ahead as I can on that. So it's trying to make as many considerations as I can for 0.3 and trying to make it as prepared for 0.3 as we can. So I also am going to be putting out another build guide for this if I have time, another Infusion build, a Stormweaver one. Anyways, without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? So here's the POB. Let me zoom out a little bit so my webcam doesn't block it. Here's the full POB real quick for anyone that wants to see it. Okay, so I took the liberty of breaking down the leveling process for you, from level 24 to 40 to 51 to 70. I pretty much just wanted to break down where you should be at each trial. Like in Act 3 also, I wanted you to get the Chaos Res before Act 3. So that was some things to look out for. Also, Arcane Surge. We're going to be getting a new Arcane Surge node, which will probably be right here. And what it's going to do is make Arcane Surge apply to your life pool instead of your mana pool. And we're going to grab that. So it's going to look like this. That's why we have 99 points, or why we didn't use all our points. Also, there will probably be some points on the tree for Infusion itself. Like, that'll buff Infusion up in some way, maybe. I foresee that happening. So if that happens, we'll probably be taking those nodes for sure. If they come out with any new life nodes, we will absolutely be taking them. So this tree is not final, but I did the best that I could to future-proof it, and to consider as many things as possible. I'll start from the beginning. At level 24, your tree would look like this. We do grab these nodes along the beginning that you will be respecing. So before level 40, you're going to respec some of these points to make the tree look like this. It's only like 8-point respec or something like that. So it's not bad. You should be able to do it very easily. Just don't use all your gold like before level 40. Okay. This is your first trial. You are going to be getting, for your first trial, you get... Oh, wait, sorry. This shouldn't be collected for this one. There we go. You should be getting this node, which will actually be Sunder the Flesh. Gives you 15% base crit. Very good. So around this time is when we want to grab all the crit. That's why you respec and you go grab all the crit, and you don't care about these damage nodes at the beginning anymore. You just want to expand out. Those damage nodes at the beginning are just to help us with Act 1 and Act 2, damage-wise, you know. Anyways, for trial number 2, you'll be grabbing the leech node, and you'll be grabbing more lightning stuff and cast speed. And this is around when you'll grab the chaos res and cast speed. Spiral into mania. You'll want to get this before Act 3, before you go, before you go into the chaos zones there. Yeah, and then Act 3, or trial number 3, sorry, not Act 3, which will be around level 70. This will be your tree. If you elect not to use ball lightning for your single target, which I recommend you do use it, but if you don't use it, you don't need this. You could get rid of these 3 points if you choose not to use ball lightning. Okay. I recommend you use it, but there's other options out there. You could use Comet, for instance. And we might talk about that later. But anyways, here's your full tree. Also, there's going to be a keystone added here, right next to Heartstopper, which will give you mana leech. We might go for that, maybe. Because as you'll notice, we did not go for blood magic. Okay. We instead, I think this is a good segue to start looking at the skill segment of the PUB. We use inspiration on everything instead, because yeah, your mana and life costs will just get so high if you don't. Arc gets some really respectable crit and damage with not too much investment. This is your 5 link, and then these 3 here are just like pick one. Just pick one of these 3, whichever one you want. We don't know how good these are going to be yet, but I think they're going to be very, very, very saucy. Okay. I don't know what all you can support Arc with yet, but it's a projectile now, for one. So you should be able to use Fork or Scattershot with it. I would never use both in the same place because you just lose all your damage. But yeah, you should be able to use either of these, and I would probably take one of them. Maybe Scattershot, just because it has no mana multiplier, would probably be my first pick. But I'm gonna try out, I'm definitely gonna try both of these and see how they feel. There's that. For ball lightning, you're gonna be using it on Unleash. Deceleration is very important, slowing down the projectiles. And on Orb of Storms, we get blind. So that way, on our skills that actually do damage, we can grab Blindside, which is very strong. We love Blindside, and we look forward to using it. Yeah, that's your 3 main skills that you're going to be using. Should be like all you're really pressing, I think. Yeah, these are the only 3 skills you're going to press. So you're always going to drop Orb of Storms. Okay, actually, there's a 4th skill. Sometimes you will drop Frostbomb. You'll drop Frostbomb sometimes, so as a 4th skill, like for rares and bosses and stuff. You'll drop it periodically to apply exposure. But yeah, you're just gonna drop, whether it's single target or you're clearing, you're gonna drop Orb of Storms immediately, and then for clearing, okay, sorry, let me start over. Either for both scenarios, you're going to drop your Orb of Storms, then you're going to stand inside of the circle, and then you're either going to cast Arc for your clearing, or you're going to cast Ball Lightning if you're up against a boss. And since this is on Unleash, you'll want to wait a few seconds in between Ball Lightnings. You maybe cast Ball Lightning and maybe a couple Arcs in between, perhaps, if you'd like. I'll leave that up to you, of course. We are going to be using Siphon Elements, which a War Banner here is just standing in. It's just This is supposed to be Siphon Elements. We just don't have it in PUB yet, so just standing in for Siphon Elements. These are some supports I recommend. Persistent supports will make your life better. We'll also use Overwhelming Presence, and I did not mean to click Persistence here. I don't know how that got there. We'll use LE Weakness on Blasphemy with Heightened Curse to make it more effective. In our cast on crit setup, which will be like later on, you'll get cast on crit Living Bomb, and this will give you fire infusions. When you have a fire infusion, Ball Lightning will explode. At the end of its path, it explodes. So that's Ball Lightning's whole thing. Arc's whole thing is when you get a lightning infusion, it chains way further and does more damage. So very cool. You definitely want those you'll pretty much always have lightning infusions. If you just cast while you're inside of Orb of Storms, you should get enough back. You should almost always have one to use for your next arc cast. Okay. And that's all that. If you want to use your cold infusions, because you will get some cold infusions from time to time, you can try out Ice Nova or Frost Darts. For your leveling skills, at the very beginning of the game, you're going to use Spark with these supports. Probably, I'm not sure on those supports. The new support system, it might change. With Spark, while you're using Spark, you're going to use these two. You're going to self-cast Flame Wall, and you're going to keep Frost Bomb throughout the game. And then until you get Living Bomb, to get Fire infusions, this is how you're going to get it. You'll use Solar Orb plus Cold Snap, and that'll give you a bunch of Fire infusions for your Ball Lightning. Okay, so that's all your skills. I went over the tree, which hopefully you were able to see all of that clearly without my camera covering it. We get a lot of recoup on the tree. Recoup, when combined with Grasping Wounds, recoup is very strong. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention. Okay, so trial number 3, you have these, right? Trial number 4. Okay, well, I need to add an intermediate step in between that looks like this. Because until you get like a GG chest, your third ascendancy will be here. Which will be Gore Spike, because those two are swapping. But once you get a good chest, you'll swap Leech for Crimson Power. Okay, that's one important thing with the ascendancy there. Make sure that you don't grab Crimson Power too early. You probably want that Leech instead to help you survive. Okay. That's all of that. Let me go. Whoops, we're on a second take now. I concluded the last video thinking I got everything, but I forgot the equipment section. So let's go over that very quickly and redo the outro. The equipment, I do not want you to look too much at the equipment or to look too much into it. I really just put it there in order to like model how much life I would get, like, and how much damage, you know. This is like literally, some of this is perfect gear, so literally don't put too much stock into the mods. Okay, in the next build that follows this, after 0.3 comes out, maybe I'll more accurately model the equipment, you know. But essentially you just want to go for armor bases, with, you know, life and res, you know, and movement speed, of course, and chaos res, and, you know, all that good stuff. And then a chest, you just want as much energy shield as you can get on it. And that's about it. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave a like or a comment if you have some questions. Also, if you really want to support me, come stop by my Twitch. I could always use more follows and more viewership on my Twitch. I will definitely be streaming on League Start. Again, I may or may not be putting out one more build, so look out tomorrow. There may be another build coming out, which would be a Stormweaver Infusion, which would be like the ES version of this, with maybe Firestorm instead. So yeah, so if I have time, I'll make one more build guide video, and if not, I'll be seeing you guys after 0.3 launches. So good luck on 0.3 to you all. I wish you many divines. I hope you drop many divines and exalts, lots of perfect exalts, and I hope you get perfect items, you know. So yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Try to cry less than I do.